What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FAA podcast. New time, new day. Not a new day for real, but had to move it to today. New time ish though. We'll see. We'll see if this works out or not. I don't know. Anyways, free agency frenzy. It is very, very much a frenziness because I know there's 5 million pages of script that we have to talk about. So, yeah, let's start it. I mean, we're not even gonna say breaking news because there's a million things we could say breaking news. Anyways, we're gonna actually go to college news to start off. Eddie George has a new home. He is leaving Tennessee State to become the new head coach at Bowling Green. That position vacated when Scott Loeffler left to be the Eagles quarterbacks coach. So yeah, Eddie George, and I know some people have said about, is this a Dion kind of move here, moving up to the FBS now. That's exactly what Dion did, going from Jackson State to Colorado. Obviously, Bowling Green in the MAC and not the Big 12, but still, we'll see. We'll see what Eddie can do. Tenure there at Tennessee State got him to 9 wins last year. I believe back-to-back playoff appearances in the FCS playoffs, but I'm not totally sure. I know they made it last year, though. Lost a tough one to Montana in Montana there. So, yeah, good on Eddie George. All right. UFL news, just a couple releases. The Memphis Showboats releasing quarterback Quentin Dormady, running back DeAndre Torrey. So Dormady, former Brahmas quarterback there, and was looking to compete for the Memphis job, but not so much anymore. All right. Let's go to the NFL. Here I have some of the trades. I don't have all of them. I have the ones that were already completed by yesterday. So we had a ton of trades. It's that time of year. I think officially tomorrow at 4:00 is when deals can be official, trades and whatnot. So let's see what we got here. The breaking one that I feel like really turned the quarterback carousel, started turning it, was this one on Friday night. The Raiders getting their quarterback, Geno Smith from the Seahawks, 25 third-rounder going back to Seattle. And, yeah, I think it's a great deal for the Raiders. I'm not so sure for the Seahawks. I think it's pretty solid value, but the Raiders didn't sign Geno to a contract as well. So it's an interesting one. Third round pick for a year of a quarterback so far.
Yeah. I think I get the vision of what the Seahawks were going for. They got much younger in the quarterback position. I won't say who they signed. We'll probably get to it right away, but Geno Smith's 34. The guy they got now is 27. I think they saw the best out of Geno and probably didn't see him in the long-term future, which, again, is understandable. Again, he's 34. He didn't really see success anywhere other than Seattle. And I'm not saying his numbers went down, but I think with Seattle, when you look at Geno, you kind of – what you see is kind of what you're getting. I don't think they feel like he can push them over the top. I mean, his QBR was the worst it's been in the time he's been a starter this year. It took a pretty significant dip. And yeah, I mean, he made two Pro Bowls while on Seattle, but I think they kind of believe they got the best they can get out of him. That being said, Raiders needed a quarterback. They needed someone that could step in and be the day one starter, and Geno Smith is that, and getting him for only a third-round pick. Pretty good value. So I really do think this is win-win. especially with Seattle's other moves, both in trades and in signings. I think Seattle is pivoting towards, I don't want to say rebuild, but probably a soft retool. They really want to get younger. I think they know their peak with the roster they had last year going forward would be a first round exit, and they're probably looking just to move forward from that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense though for Vegas. I still would not put it past them to draft a guy. Namely, Shedeur Sanders more than likely would be at they're at 6, I believe. And yeah, I mean, Gino knows the system. Pete Carroll wants to run, so makes sense. Let's continue with the Seahawks. This was another big one. Steelers making an unprecedented move. They really don't do this often, sending high value draft picks, but they did it in this case. DK Metcalf coming to Pittsburgh. They get DK and 25-6, 25-7 from the Seahawks for number 52, second rounder this year, 6th and 7th rounders this year as well. I wasn't that big of a fan. I'm wearing my Steelers stuff right now. DK was not the guy I wanted. He is still decently young. But when you look at the numbers, especially a lot of the analytics people are talking about advanced stats with DK and how they decreased last year significantly. Under 66 receiving yards per game last season was not great. And the biggest thing is, Steelers don't have a quarterback yet. And also, George Pickens, DK do the same thing, essentially. DK is bigger than George Pickens somehow, and faster, probably, I would assume. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It feels like a guy in decline, and it felt like it kind of didn't make sense. We knew the Steelers were going to get someone on the veteran market, but I didn't think it was going to be DK, and the success of the Steelers in the day 2 of the draft. I'm sure they will draft a guy still, but it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the trade for. I liked the trade for Pittsburgh. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I liked the trade for Pittsburgh. I hated the contract.
Mm-hmm.
I think, DK for a second and a 6th and 7th pick swap, which I think does Pittsburgh drop back in the 6th and 7th or go up? I can't remember how the standings go.
They would drop back.
They would drop back.
Yeah, I think the Seahawks were the Seahawks like one of the last ones out. Oh, hold on, let me see.
Yeah, they were one of the last ones out. They didn't make the playoffs, so the Steelers did. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah. Well, no, it would make sense. It would make sense that the Steelers come up.
Yeah. So on paper, I do actually like the trade. I think a 2nd round pick and, for DK and moving up like a handful of picks in the 6th and 7th, I think that's good value. I'm not a fan of the contract. I think that's a bit of an overpay for DK Metcalf. I mean, what is this new contract? 4-year, $132 million, $33 million a year. You're paying him into.
I just knew it was 5 for 1. I just knew it was 5 for 150.
Yeah, I can't remember what was the guaranteed money, but I mean, you're paying him till he's 32, 2029. He plays a very physical game. He's a physical wide receiver. Like, what works best for him is, again, playing the receiver position at a physical level, and that tends to deteriorate as time goes on. I don't think this is going to be good value by year 3. I think he's, even with the cap going up, I just don't see him playing up to that value. It's it's just I'm not a huge fan of the contract. Trade, I thought the trade was fine. I thought the Steelers gave up okay value for DK for about 1,000-yard receiver. He didn't get 1,000 this last year, but he came like a catch short of 1,000. But again, it's the contract that I'm squeamish about.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I don't really like the fact that people are talking about George Pickens now getting traded. I'm like, why? Why would you do that?
Yeah, I think what you have to do, you have to figure out a different role for DK. I think the best way the Steelers can play this is DK probably could be wide receiver 1 for a year or two, but by like second half of that contract, you kind of have to game plan as George Pickens as wide receiver 1, and then Metcalf becomes wide receiver 2. Because if he doesn't become wide receiver 2, I don't think 29, 30-year-old DK Metcalf would be wide receiver 1 caliber.
Yeah, I think they're 1A, 1B. I would go the opposite way. I would keep George. I just think George is younger for one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think George Pickens capable of doing more than DK is, especially at this point in DK's career. So have DK be the deep ball, jump ball guy, and change George's role. Change George into more route runner, more routes. He needs to run more routes than just the quick and go ball and jump up and catch.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, I don't disagree. I think Pickens does just a ton better over the middle of the field too, compared to DK. DK is a sideline guy.
He has better hands than DK.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But we'll see. I don't think this is a horrible trade in terms of value. I think the contract's rough. We'll see what the Pittsburgh Steelers can make of this.
Yeah, I believe this was the last one I had on. Yeah. Okay. So there was a bunch of other trades that went down once the negotiating window started, which was yesterday at noon, I believe. Saints getting defense tackle Devon Gottschall from the Patriots, 26 7th rounder going back to New England, just shedding salary for New England there essentially, and Saints get a run stuffing defense tackle. Not sure exactly what the numbers look like for Gottschall, but the Patriots did not have any need for him anymore, and Saints were looking to bolster that run defense, I guess.
Yeah. It's good depth for the Saints. I think the Saints like their defensive line. And a 7th round pick is nothing, really. It's chump change.
Mm-hmm. 7th rounder next year, too. That's the next one was another massive trade. The Commanders getting Jaden Daniels, a blindside protector, trading for offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil and a 2025 4th round pick from the Texans for a 25 third, a 26 second, and a 26 4th. Just ridiculous compensation that the Texans got. Laramie Tunsil signed for the next 2 years or 3 years, I believe. Still under 30. I believe he's 28, something around there, 29 maybe. But he struggled this past year in Houston? It wasn't great. CJ Stroud got sacked 52 times this year.
Mm-hmm. And he is over 30.
Oh, okay. My mistake.
Yeah, he just turned 30 this year.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, I mean, I think it makes it a little bit better with Washington getting a 4 back this year. But that's still a ton. And I know you have to protect your guy's blind side, your future quarterback blind side, but for a guy that's I don't know, 30, that's a lot.
Yeah, I agree with you on this. I think Tunsil at this point is kind of a name more than he is a talent. He's not the same guy he was when he was drafted to Miami. He wasn't the guy he was his first couple years at Houston. Sure, he's made 3 straight Pro Bowls, but with how the Pro Bowl kind of works, it doesn't really blow me away. And And he takes so many pre-snap penalties. I think this guy has so many false starts. He might have led the league in false starts the last couple of years. It's just it's I think he's I think I think he's more name than anything else anymore. I think I don't disagree with the Commanders getting a blindside blocker, but would you rather give up a second, third, and fourth for Laramie Tunsil, or try your luck in signing Cam Robinson, who had a pretty decent half season with the Vikings?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah, so he is 30, turning 31 this year. Signed for 2 more years. They can get out of it next year with zero dead. There's nothing guaranteed next season. So essentially, he's signed for 1 year at 21.35 mil on the cap.
Yeah.
Same number next year as well, if they would keep him. How about a quarterback trade? The Eagles, for the second straight year, trading for a quarterback. Trading a quarterback, Kenny Pickett, who they got last year from the Steelers, to Cleveland. Back in the AFC North for Kenny Pickett. And the Eagles, they get back quarterback Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a 2025 fifth-round pick. That is the Lions pick, so it's later pick in the round. But nonetheless, Howie strikes again, I think. I think this is a fantastic deal. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, much cheaper. And Kenny Pickett is owed $500,000 more than he was last year on the second year of the deal that he signed with the Eagles. Plus, the Eagles get a fifth-round pick. I mean, I think it's a great deal for Philadelphia, and they get a developmental quarterback. I think they really did this because they loved what they saw from Tanner McKee last season, and I think really Tanner McKee is going to take that next step and be the backup to Jalen Hurts this year, and DTR is going to be the third guy.
Yeah, I agree. I see this also from the Browns' perspective. I think it makes sense. DTR is not good. He hasn't been good in 2 years. I think Browns fans really overrate DTR. I think they just like him because he's not Deshaun Watson. And if you're Cleveland, I mean, Deshaun Watson re-tore his Achilles in the offseason while on vacation. He's probably not going to play next year. And there are rumors swirling that the Browns may be looking at adding another quarterback this offseason. I've heard names like Kirk Cousins being thrown out there. But Kenny Pickett, he comes in cheap. Sure, he has a bigger contract than DTR, but it's still a backup quarterback salary. He has starting experience. I think he's an okay safety blanket. I still believe they'll probably take a QB second overall. And I also still believe they'll probably look to add another quarterback in the offseason, whether it's Kirk Cousins. I could see Jacoby Brissett coming back. I could see Joe Flacco coming back to Cleveland. I think Kenny Pickett, at worst, he's an upgrade at their third quarterback position compared to DTR. At best, he can start games in a season where Cleveland may be looking to get a quarterback next year in the draft. So I think both sides got what they wanted.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Cleveland got a good one, for limited money there. I liked what I saw from Kenny Pickett. I don't believe he didn't start any games because he came in for a game, the Giants game. He came in for Jalen Hurts, helped the Eagles win that game, and then got injured in that game, wasn't able to start the next week, which led to Tanner McKee starting. But I was impressed with what I saw from Kenny Pickett. That's been his biggest bugaboo. Forget the on-field; it's the injuries. He's been, terrible. Just the rib injuries is what has plagued him the last couple of years.
Yeah, he's definitely had those injuries, but I think it's a fine trade. Backup for backup. It works for both teams.
Yeah, let's go back to Philadelphia for another trade they made. Texans trading with Philadelphia this time, getting safety CJ Gardner-Johnson and a 26 sixth round pick from the Eagles for guard Kenyon Green and a 26 fifth round pick. Former first round pick Kenyon Green, by the way, number 13 overall. I believe that was 2022. He's going into the last year of his rookie deal this season, so cheap contract for Philadelphia. And I think this probably means they're out on the Mekhi Becton sweepstakes because he has not been signed by anyone yet. But Jeff Stoutland, we know this was a Jeff Stoutland trade. He told Howie what he wants and who he wants to start at right guard, and it's going to be Kenyon Green, and Stout's going to coach him up.
Yeah,
Not
that
gonna,
makes
you know,
that makes total sense. When I saw this trade, I said the exact same thing you did. I said, all right, Mekhi Becton's out of the room. I think I really like this trade for the Eagles. They weren't going to bring back Gardner Johnson. I think moving up in the draft plus getting a guy that had first round pedigree that is still young, I believe still on his rookie contract. I think if Philadelphia could fix Mekhi Becton, I think you can fix Green. No problem whatsoever. On the Houston side, I don't get it. I actually don't. I don't like either of their moves. I mean, I like how they got value for Tunsil, but who's their offensive line? Like their offensive line was pretty rough last year, and I genuinely think it's worse.
And they released Shaq Mason as well.
And they did. I mean, it was a bad line. Don't get me wrong, but are they going to put all their eggs into the Mekhi Becton, Cam Robinson basket? Like, are they going to spend big in free agency?
Like, they're going to start 3 rookies in the draft this year.
Yeah, I mean, and like, how much money do they have? I don't know what their cap situation is. I'm assuming it's okay enough to let these 3 guys go. But yeah, I'm still, and don't get me wrong, Gardner Johnson, he's not a slouch, but he's a rotational guy. I don't think he's
Texans last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Texans have no space, by the way. No space.
Yeah,
3.3.
so
3.3 million.
That's so you might get lucky and get someone late in free agency that hasn't been signed, but yeah, like you can't do this.
Well, again, though, the cap they took 15 million dead for Laramie Tunsil, 3.6 million for Kenyon Green. They still have 16.6 million dead cap hit for Stephon Diggs, who is unsigned right now, and they are looking at post June 1 cut for Shaq Mason. He's going to cost them. That's going to save them 2.1 million on June 1st, between 12.4 million dead cap, 14.5 cap hit, so 2.1 million there. Savings on June 1st, which is not now. Can't help you now, but yeah, they're going to have to start rookies. that's the simple fact.
Yeah, that's going to be rough for them.
Yeah, I mean, they still have Titus Howard at right tackle. That's it. That's what they got. The next highest paid lineman that they have is Laken Tomlinson, $4.25 million. But that man is 33 years old.
Yeah, Stroud might die.
Juice Scruggs they like at center on a rookie deal. They got Blake Fisher on a rookie deal at tackle as well. Yeah. Jarrett Patterson they like at center as well. And other than that, there's not many other names to talk about.
Yeah, I don't get both of these trades for Houston. I mean, I like the value they got, especially for Tunsil, but I don't think that they're in a position to let offensive linemen go. I mean, I'm guessing it's a money thing, but yeah, it's not where they should be letting people go.
How wild, dude, are these Philly-Washington matchups going to be this year?
Oh, they're gonna
They,
be
they
good.
both they both lost D linemen, but they both got O linemen.
There's gonna be no sacks in those games, man.
And the Eagles got plenty of guys coming still. All right, let's go to general news here. Actually, the first one I'm going to cross out. I forgot about that. Anyways, Broncos hosting Jaguars tight end Evan Ingram has yet to sign. Would not be shocked that the Broncos tight end was one of my top needs for Denver. Which I got, I don't know how the hell we're going to do this mock draft, man, because I haven't updated my draft needs yet post free agency because everything's been rolling fast and furious. But Broncos still need a tight end. I wouldn't be shocked. That has been a pivotal key of Sean Payton offenses when he was in New Orleans with Jeremy Shockey originally, and then Jimmy Graham as well, Jawan Johnson later in Payton's tenure there in NOLA. So, yeah, I think Evan Ingram, solid career in Jacksonville the last couple of years. I think he could still contribute to the Broncos and on an up and coming team.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a good signing.
Commanders, they're hosting Raiders wide receiver Michael Gallup. So Gallup coming out of retirement, trying to make a comeback, potentially back in the NFC East. All right, releases. Jags releasing wide receiver Josh Reynolds. Raiders releasing Michael Gallup there. They also released center Andre James, longtime center for Vegas there. He was, I believe, the last Raider on the team to be an Oakland Raider, I think. There might be one other one, but I'm pretty sure he was the last one. Chargers releasing running back Gus Edwards. Bills released edge rusher Von Miller. Team is open to return. 8.4 mil in cap space saved for Buffalo, though, so big cap savings to release Von Miller. Lions releasing edge rusher Zadarius Smith. 49ers released defense tackle Malik Collins, 10 million saved for San Fran. Steelers releasing defense tackle Larry Ogunjobi. Rams, they will release wide receiver Cooper Kupp tomorrow if there is no trade agreed to with anyone.
He is the most Viking I've ever imagined, baby.
Hell no, I wanted him for Pittsburgh.
Nah, hell no. He's coming to Minnesota. He's reuniting with KOC.
The Browns, they released defense tackle Dalvin Tomlinson, post June 1 cut there. 49ers, I thought this one was shocking. They released fullback Kyle Juszczyk. Still wants to play, he said, so we'll see. I mean, who needs a fullback? Other than Baltimore, which they already got their guy, which we'll talk about in a second. Yeah, I don't know. Pete Carroll need a fullback in Vegas there.
He likes to run the ball. That would make sense.
And the last notable one here, the Panthers releasing running back Miles Sanders today. Inevitable, nonetheless. Sunk cost there. Horrible signing. Restricted free agency news, couple things. The Browns saying they will not tender pass rusher James Houston. Had a good year a couple seasons ago with Detroit and has not been up to that level since, but nonetheless, good rotational guy. Someone will get a solid player. A couple second round tenders being thrown out there. Steelers tendering running back Jalen Warren at the second round level. That's $5.3 million. I believe it will be the same amount of money for 49ers running back Jordan Mason, tendered at the second round level as well. I wonder if the Jordan Mason thing was in response to Elijah Mitchell leaving for Kansas City. They didn't want to lose another running back, even though it doesn't make sense that they have Isaac Guerrero still on his rookie deal behind CMC. So, all right, extensions. Let's get the cash register rolling here. The Bills signing quarterback Josh Allen to a new 6-year, $330 million deal, $250 million guaranteed, signed through 2030. It's a new 6-year deal. They scrapped the 4 years that he had left on his contract, and they put 6 new ones on there at the going rate now. That is wild, unprecedented move. No one has done that and scrapped 4 whole years of a contract and agreed to a new 6-year one. That's wild.
Mm-hmm. Got an echo there.
But hashtag MVP life, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, you win the MVP, you get paid. Yeah.
Only he could win something else.
He's trying, man. It's not his fault. That team around him, it keeps bringing him down.
Horrendous play calling on my part, I think, in the AFC Championship. That's just me. How about the Browns getting a resolution? He signed defensive end Myles Garrett, 4 years, $160 million, $123.5 million guaranteed there. Another just massive extension there, and something I really didn't think was going to happen. I really did believe that Garrett was going to put his foot down, miss games until they let him, until they traded him. But I don't know what Mr. Haslam or the Andrew Barry said. I don't know. Maybe it was Kevin Stefanski. Who knows? Someone said the right things to him, and he said, okay. Or did they just put enough money in front of him and say, okay, I got you now.
Man, money talks. Money always talks. And you know what? Moving's a hassle. Moving's a huge hassle. I get it. Money's not the main priority, but as it turns out, it is a pretty big priority when someone's offering you all the money in the world.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I mean, we're looking at, it seems, another Browns Hall of Famer that will never do anything team-wise. Like, that's what we have with Joe Thomas. It's like, come on, man.
Did you think Haslam told him, dude, stay, we're going to get a Super Bowl winning quarterback? And then he signed and they got Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. Are we sure the facts went through? Need some Elvis Doomerville kind of things going on. Hey, deals ain't. Oh, actually, that one can be official because it's an extension. But yeah, actually, yeah, no, that one can be. But the new league year starts tomorrow, so Happy New Year. And he got a no trade clause, by the way, which is intriguing.
Oh, do you want a little bit of breaking news?
And he's tied through 2030. Sure. Why not?
We were just talking about him, but Tom Pelissero has just said 2-time Pro Bowler Evan Ingram is now visiting the Chargers today. So maybe a bit of bidding war with 2 AFC West rivals.
That would make sense as well. Chargers looking for an upgrade over their top tight end was Will Dissly last year, and he didn't do bad. It's just Evan Ingram's a lot more athletic. All right, a couple more extensions here. Panthers making corner J.C. Horn the highest paid corner in the NFL. 4 years, $100 million, $108 million max value, $70 million guaranteed there. Excellent re-signing and extension by Dan Morgan. J.C. Horn is probably by far the best thing Carolina has going right now. He is the cornerstone of their defense, and as they try to rebuild that side of the ball. But yeah, they needed to get J.C. Horn signed through the long term, have him as one of the pillars of their rebuild there.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great season this last year. He made the Pro Bowl. Played a full healthy season, 15 games, not 17, but I mean, so yeah, I mean, this is the guy you want as a top 10 pick. He's really starting to be the guy they expected when they draft him 8th overall, and he's 25. So you know, 4-year deal. It takes him basically through his entire prime.
Yep. Another Bills extension. They have been busy signing most of their own guys to extensions. They signed defensive end Greg Rousseau, 4 years, $80 million extension, 54 mil guaranteed there for Greg Rousseau. Another guy, just like you said with J.C. Horn, excellent season for Greg Rousseau, and gets rewarded as a 2022 draft pick there, first rounder.
Yeah.
Last extension to talk about here, the Falcons signing their guy, longtime franchise left tackle Jake Matthews, 2 years, $45 million extension. He is back for years 12 and 13 now in Atlanta. So congrats to Jake Matthews there. All right, here's more fun, or not as fun, I guess, as free agency, but re-signings a little bit more fun, I think, than extensions, even though less money. But anyways, the Bucks re-signing maybe the top wide receiver on the market. Some could argue. Wide receiver Chris Godwin, 3 years, $66 million deal, $45 million guaranteed there, and there's a lot of faith from Tampa Bay in a guy coming off a broken ankle this past year.
Yeah. It's crazy too hearing about this. He left money on the table from the Patriots to come back to the Buccaneers. So I mean, good get for the Bucks to keep their guy, you know, even after the injury. I don't know what's more surprising though, how much money he got after a broken ankle, like a really bad injury, or the fact that the Patriots were putting way more money on the table.
You know, I'm not surprised at the Patriots. They had, I believe, the most cap space of anyone. And you know, they were going to be players on almost every single top free agent available, and they actually still do have the most cap space. Obviously, Spot Track has not put some of these deals in. I don't know. They've put they put most of the Patriots free agents in, actually, and Spot Track still has them at $86 million. Yeah, Patriots have plenty of money to spend. I don't even think they're close to the minimum spending yet that they have to get to. So the cap floor. But anyways, yeah, I'm not surprised that they were offering exorbitant money to Chris Godwin. They needed a receiver. That was one of their number one needs.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jimmy, Vikings re-signing corner Byron Murphy Jr., 3 years, $66 million. Same deal that Chris Godwin got. I don't know the guaranteed on that, but yeah, excellent. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love this. I'll try to pull up the guarantees. I saw a tweet about it earlier, so I'll try to find out the entire structure of it. Here it is. 3-year, $54 million, 34.78 guaranteed, $20 million in 2025, $4 million annual incentives. It's practically a 2-year 36. This year his cap hit's going to be 5.6, next year 19.5, 2027 21.6, and then 2028 is a 7.2 million void year.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's a great deal. I love Byron Murphy. I've loved him for the last 2 years since we got him from Arizona. He's been our best cornerback. I think this is extremely reasonable considering the rest of the market. I mean, he got paid basically the same as essentially every big corner that went on the market. Like, I'm not going to say who he signed with to keep the spoilers away, but Javarius Ward, same contract, like basically the exact same thing. Carlton Davis the third, same exact contract. So I really like this. I love Murphy. The team does too. I think this is a great signing.
Well, I got to go after whoever the hell gave me 3 years, $66 million. I don't know. Schefter, Rappaport, you're out.
Yeah.
All right, going to another purple team here. Ravens getting their blindside protector back, re-signing left tackle Ronnie Stanley, 3 years, $60 million deal. The top tackle on the market in terms of free agents. And this was another one that I was kind of surprised. It seemed to me that it was moving toward him going elsewhere and not coming back to Baltimore. But Ravens put the 60 mil on the table, and Stanley's back for another 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy's a cornerstone in the offensive line. He's been there for such a long time. It'd almost be weird to see him in another uniform. Yeah, I mean, you got to protect the franchise, and you got to pay the franchise protector.
Yeah. How about the Saints spending some money for once? Re-signing defensive end Chase Young, 3 years, $51 million, $57 million max value on this one. I was shocked a little bit about the numbers, but Chase Young still only 28 years old. Wild.
Yeah, I don't get it. I'll be honest, I don't get it. I feel like everyone just sees former second overall pick and falls in love with that. Again, not saying he's bad. He's not, but like 5.5 sacks, 31 tackles. That's not that's not $15 million over $15 million per year worthy. Like
17. It's 17.
17. That's not $17 million worthy. I think it's not. And considering basically his only asset really is his sacking ability, I don't know. I think this is an overpay. I think you're paying about $3 to $4 million a year more than you should. Like if this is like a 3-year, I would say like I don't know, a 3-year $40 million contract or a 3-year $45 million contract. I don't think I blink as much. But over 50 mil with a chance of 57 max, I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, and I mean he's his career high is 7.5 sacks.
Yeah,
Which
and
he did his rookie year and made the Pro Bowl, won defensive rookie of the year. And he did that again in 2023 when he had 5 with Washington and 2.5 with San Francisco.
yeah.
So 1 year in New Orleans, 5.5 sacks, second most he's had in his career in a season. But again, I think the thing that the Saints are seeing, he's still. I was very, very much off. He's only 25. I mean, good Lord, he's gonna turn 26 here next month. But he's got a lot of time left.
He does. It's just, well, we've seen on the field since his rookie year, just hasn't really been. Yeah, he just hasn't developed.
But you think about it too, though. The top pass rushers now are around 30 million.
Yeah, that's fair.
So to have a guy, if a guy's going to give you 5 to 7 sacks a year, 15 to 20 million, I think, is probably the going rate at this point.
I guess so.
And I think what's also good about Chase Young, he's a pretty solid run stopper as well. I don't know. We need Logan in here to get the advanced analytics on that. Run stop win rate. The Chiefs, they re-signed linebacker Nick Bolton, 3 years, $45 million. $30 million fully guaranteed. And this one was funny because I'm gonna also pair that with 2 other ones. Jets re-signed linebacker Jamie Sherwood, 3 years, $45 million, $30 million fully guaranteed, same exact deal as Bolton. And then the Seahawks re-signed linebacker Ernest Jones IV, 3 years, $33 million, $15 million guaranteed there. I thought all 3 of those went together well because literally time-wise, they did. Like, they went boom, boom, boom yesterday. It was so funny. The linebacker market, everyone was like, there's no one available. We need our guys. Zach Bond, Nick Bolton, Jamian Sherwood, Ernest Jones all re-signed.
Mhm.
And I think all three of those guys, it makes total sense where they're at. Jones, nice for him though. He finally gets a home. He doesn't have to rent anymore after being traded twice last year. All right, the Broncos, they re-signed defense tackle DJ Jones, 3 years, $39 million. 26 million guaranteed. Pretty solid chunk change there for Mr. Jones. Guy I don't know a ton about, but a good rotational guy there, a starter, I should say. My bad. How about the Giants making a splash, re-signing wide receiver Darius Slayton, 3 years, $36 million deal. I didn't think he was going to be back. I thought someone was going to pay him that kind of deal on the open market. But yeah, Giants get him back. The Bengals, they re-signed defense tackle BJ Hill, 3 years, $33 million. 16 million guaranteed there for BJ Hill. Bengals focusing on the defense essentially in free agency as they work toward the offensive extensions and potential trade of Trey Hendrickson, which like no one's talking about now because of all the free agency news.
Yeah.
The Saints, they re-signed tight end Jawan Johnson, 3 years, 30.75 million. 34.5 million max value, 21.25 million guaranteed there. I don't know. I had high hopes for Jawan Johnson this year, and he severely did not live up to my high hopes. He did have a career high in receiving yards and receptions, but I thought he was going to be 1,000-yard type of guy, and it just was not. Partly probably because Derek Carr was injured for a lot of the year, but I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think it's bad. I think the only problem I have with it is he's 28.
Mm-hmm.
This team, I've always been frustrated with the Saints. The Saints scream a team that just needs to tear it to the baseboards and just let people go and get all the money off the books and just do the hardest reset the league has ever seen. And they just kind of refuse to. Like I said it when Breeze retired. I said it when Peyton left. Like there was no reason to really continue to run up the cap for guys that kind of made you competitive, made you basically a 6-11, 7-10 team eternally. And Juwan Johnson, mixed them up. Again, he's a good tight end. He's the prototypical 7-10 record tight end. He's good. He's not good enough. I don't see what the Saints are building. I don't see the vision.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think they would be okay if Mickey Loomis left eventually. I mean, what's crazy about the Saints is the dead money. Really, they would have a lot more money actually. Marshawn Lattimore, 31.6 million dead cap hit for 2025. Michael Thomas is still on the books, by the way. 9.1 million dead cap hit, as is Jameis Winston, 7.3 million. So that's a lot of money. 11, you're paying. You have a dead cap hit of 11.34% for Marshawn Lattimore, who's not on your team. They have not input the Chase Young contract yet. They still have him at 2.281 million. But really, though, when you look at the Saints, aren't bad shape. They're actually, they're still bottom They're right at the end of the third quarter of the league. So they're at 24th in cap space, 16.5 million though cap space available right now as Spot Track has it.
That's not great for what they are.
Right. Yeah. All right. What other re-signings we got here? Another tight end. Bengals re-signing tight end Mike Gesicki. 3 years, 25.5 million, 12 mil guaranteed there. Yeah, I'm not doing a second cha-ching for anything below 15 million guaranteed, by the way. Anyways, yeah, I love it. Love it. Mike Gesicki had a great year in Cincinnati, and Joey B loves him. So yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, he fits the system real well.
Seahawks re-signed defense tackle Jaron Reed to a 3-year, $25 million deal. Next to the Seahawks to sign some defense when I think they're just gonna play defense the whole game. I don't know if they're gonna play offense in Seattle this year. Zinger, where's John? Where's John Babington at?
Come on, John. Reply. Defend your team, John.
It's just Seahawks bashing all show.
When John's not on, we just bash the Seahawks until he comes back on the show.
Yeah, now that we're late, now John can make it. I mean, he's not working. He should be working at 6:10.
We miss you, John.
Anyways, the Bucks, they re-signed guard Ben Bredesen to a 3-year, $22 million deal, 12.5 million guaranteed there. Solid re-signing for Tampa Bay. Your Vikings get their back, re-signing running back Aaron Jones. 2 years, $20 million, 13 million guaranteed there for Aaron Jones. That's quite a bit, bud, to sign a 30-year-old running back too.
It is. But I do like the signing. It's essentially kind of a 1-year deal based on how it's structured. I still see the Vikings going and trying to get a running back in the draft. I think Aaron Jones had a career year. I think he fits the Viking system well. Even if he does take a step back due to age, I think he's such a good component of the offense. And 2 years ago, when the Vikings had Alexander Madison, the Vikings system just saw immediately that this system needs just a competent running back to just thrive, and Aaron Jones allowed that. So I like the re-signing. I like that it's not a long-term thing. I like that it's essentially a 1-year deal. It doesn't put the Vikings in the situation where they wouldn't draft a running back, let's say in the 3rd round, which I'm leaning towards. You know, if once we get to the Vikings mock draft, I have a feeling I'll be pounding the table for a running back in the 3rd round. But yeah, I like this signing. Maybe a little bit of an overpay, but again, if it doesn't work out, Vikings could legitimately wash their hands of it next offseason.
Yeah, I have no clue why Caleb Johnson popped up in my head when you said Vikings 3rd round running back. I don't know why.
I like him a lot. I don't know if he'd get all the way to 97 because we have a compensatory 3rd round pick, not our own 3rd round pick.
Just got those today, by the way.
What was that?
Just got those today. They came out.
Yeah,
today.
yeah, it became official today.
I gotta update my Excel sheet.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys, they re-signed returner and wide receiver Kevontae Turpin, 3 years, $18 million deal, highest paid special teams player in the league now. Which that's with the asterisk because he is a wide receiver technically. He just mainly plays special teams. But he does play offense. Like he gets end arounds and stuff. Like not like he doesn't play offense.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, probably the best returner in the NFL, to be honest. Cowboys have maybe the best special teams in the NFL. Between Turpin, Aubrey, and breaking news, they just re-signed Brian Anger, their punter, to a 2-year deal. So, who had a career high 49 yards net average last year, I think it was. The Falcons re-signing corner Mike Hughes, 3 years, $18 million deal. Pretty solid for Atlanta last year. Former first round pick wasn't able to work out in a couple spots, but in Atlanta he did pretty well last season.
Yeah.
Hate on him, Jimmy, former Viking.
I can't. Because if I do, I have to bring a Mike Zimmer, and I don't want to talk about Mike Zimmer.
The Chargers re-signing linebacker Khalil Mack, 1 year, $18 million, fully guaranteed deal. We talked about pass rushers, and you're given he's 34, I believe. 34-year-old Khalil Mack, 18, fully guaranteed. Bills. And you let Joey Bosa go for that?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I mean, again, it is a 1-year deal, so I guess if he's bad, you wash your hands of it. But still, I would still rather have Joey Bosa than Khalil Mack.
I think the thing about Khalil Mack is like he hasn't stopped producing.
Yeah.
6 sacks last year after he had 17 in 2023. He's never had less than his rookie year. He had 4. Other than that, he hasn't had less than 6 in a season. So I mean, we were talking about Chase Young, right? Who's never had more than 7.5. Had 5.5 last year. Khalil Mack had 6 at age 33. So yeah, I don't know. He made a Pro Bowl again.
Yeah. Let's just say I like this deal more than the Chase Young deal.
Yeah, 9-time Pro Bowler for Khalil Mack. How about that?
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, Khalil Mack's former team, re-signing defensive tackle Adam Butler, 3 years, $16.5 million. Nope, that was the wrong one.
I like that one. I like that one a lot.
11 million guaranteed there. Yay!
Yay!
That one goes on forever though. That one's a long one.
Yeah.
Anyways, Adam Butler, 16.5, 11 guaranteed there. Solid, very underrated, I think, D tackle in a market right now that's just flooded with D. Like, where the hell did all these D tackles come from? Like, they all kept getting released. It was like big name after big name, and there's still a bunch of guys available. If you need interior presence, you got veterans. And by the way, there's some very good guys coming in the draft as well. I feel like it's kind of like we had a year or two ago with the safeties and the running backs. It's like, yeah, we got all these guys in the draft coming. Why should we pay these guys top dollar in free agency?
Yeah.
Although the guys are getting paid in free agency at D tackle because it's a premium position.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals re-signed edge rusher Baron Browning, 2 years, $15 million, $19 million max value there. Solid deal for Baron Browning after getting traded to Arizona mid-season there from Denver, and looking forward to his first full season in Arizona this year. Panthers, they re-signed corner Mike Jackson, 2 years, $14.5 million deal there. I liked it. A pretty solid player, plays a lot in the nickel. And they needed someone. They still need someone out opposite of J.C. Horn. So we'll see where Jackson plays. But the Broncos, they re-signed quarterback Jarrett Stidham, 2 years, $12 million, $7 million guaranteed there for Bo Nix's backup back in Denver. Raiders re-signed defensive end Malcolm Kuntz, 1 year, $12 million. I was shocked. Very shocked about that. I thought Kuntz was going to be one of the more surprising contracts to a lot of people, but I think he's a guy that's excellent. Like, he really has produced well beside opposite of Max Crosby as a former, what round was he drafted in? Third rounder. As a former third rounder, I thought he was pretty solid. He had 8 sacks last year. Or 2 years ago. My bad. 2 years ago. That's probably why he got a 1-year deal for only $12 million, because he was injured. He got injured right before, or like right at the start of training camp, and didn't play all this year. So That's why. Never mind. I shouldn't be shocked anymore. But still a good player. Eight sacks in 2023 was very good. The Cardinals, they re-signed guard Evan Brown, 2 years, $11.5 million. Pivotal part of their offensive line there. Chiefs re-signing wide receiver Hollywood Brown, 1 year, $11 million. So another guy injured a good majority of the year and wants to run it back with Mahomes this season. Giants re-signed punter Jamie Gillen, 3 years, $10.2 million. The Scottish Hammer back in the Big Apple. Bucks re-signed linebacker Levante David, 1 year, $10 million, $9 million guaranteed there for I believe he's 35. So yeah, still rolling around out there as Levante David. Texans re-signing defensive lineman Mario Edwards Jr., 2 years, $9.5 million deal. Colts re-signed wide receiver Ashton Doolin, 2 years, $8.5 million. Titans re-signing defense tackle Sebastian Joseph Day, 1 year, $7.5 million, $5 million guaranteed there. Bengals re-signed defensive end Joseph Osai, 1 year, $7 million. Commanders re-signed tight end Zach Ertz, 1 year, $6.25 million, $9 million max value there. Really solid. More than likely. I mean, I don't know if it's his last year, but he's year to year at this point in his career. So had a renaissance really with Jaden Daniels this past season for Zach Ertz. I know, Jimmy, you and I tomorrow are going to be like in our heads just ding, ding, ding.
It's like Pavlov's ring. The bell, and I'm going to salivate for snacks.
It's like, did you hear that? The Chargers re-signing defense tackle Taylor Tart, 1 year, $5.5 million. Patriots re-signed tight end Austin Hooper, 1 year, $5 million, $7 million max value there. Texans re-signing defensive end Derek Barnett, 1 year, $5 million. Lions re-signed defensive end Marcus Davenport, 1 year, $4.75 million. Your favorite player in the NFL, Marcus Davenport.
I can't wait for his 2 games.
Yeah, he got hurt last year. It wasn't his fault.
Yeah, he got hurt when he was a Viking too, so he plays like 2 games a year.
The Browns, they re-signed linebacker Devin Bush, 1 year, $3.25 million. The Cowboys re-signing long snapper Trent Sieg, 3 years, $4.45 million, $3.1 million guaranteed there. The Commanders, they re-signed tight end John Bates to a 3-year deal. Excellent season for John Bates, the understudy to Zach Ertz. Panthers re-signing tight end Tommy Tremble to a 2-year deal. Bengals re-signed offensive lineman Cody Ford to a 2-year deal. Bills today re-signed running back Ty Johnson on a 2-year deal. The Cowboys, I mentioned, re-signed punter Brian Anger, 2 years. Giants re-signed tight end Chris Manhertz to a 1-year deal. The Rams getting Matthew Stafford's back, re-signing quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo to a 1-year deal. 49ers re-signed running back they signed running back Patrick Taylor to a 1-year deal. Yep, re-signed. Re-signed. Giants re-signed quarterback Tommy DeVito, so Tommy Cutlets back in New York. Panthers re-signed center Austin Corbett. I was kind of surprised about that one, but nonetheless, Corbett back in Carolina. And punter J.K. Scott. And the Ravens re-signing fullback Patrick Ricard, so no Kyle Juszczyk in Baltimore. All right, let's go to free agency, finally. Hour 4 in, we're in free agency finally. Luckily, though, the Twitter, the tweets have stopped. Like, I have not gotten any free agency tweets within the last, I think mostly during the show. There were some like right at the beginning, and then they have stopped.
Yeah, they knew we were going live, so they respectfully went on break.
Right, and then they'll give us 10 contracts after the show.
They'll give us 10 contracts while we're doing the mock draft.
Patriots, you mentioned big money signing Eagles defense tackle Milton Williams, 4 years, $104 million, $63 million guaranteed there for Milton Williams. Just ridiculous money. Knew the Eagles weren't going to be able to afford him. Well, I was pissed though. I was pissed, Jimmy. The Panthers were the original team that was reported he was signing with, and I was like, "Let's go! Stay in the family, the Rusty team family." And then they're like, "Oh no, the Patriots got him." I was like, "Damn it!"
Yeah. I mean, if you're offering that money, of course, he's going to change his mind.
Overpay. It wasn't going to be an overpay when the Panthers paid him, but now the Patriots paid him. It's overpay.
That's how it works. Every signing of a player that didn't go to my team is an overpay.
No, but it's an interesting one. He has never been a full-time starter, like the Patriots are going to ask of him. But I do think it's a solid one. Mike Vrabel, very good coach, especially obviously defensively. So yeah, we'll see. Seahawks, they signed your guy, Vikings quarterback Sam Darnold, 3 years, $100.5 million, $55 million guaranteed from Sam Darnold. And they reported Geno Smith turned down a similar contract from Seattle. So they shipped him off to Vegas for a third rounder. They get Sammy D in. Who's he throwing the ball to?
JSN, baby.
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah. I mean, that's a lot of money for Sam. I'm glad the Vikings didn't give this to Sam. But I will say, from Seattle's perspective, would you rather pay $100 million over 3 years to a 27-year-old Sam Darnold or this deal to a 34-year-old Geno Smith? Geno Smith, who, by the way, had kind of a similar stat line to Sam Darnold this last year. Of course, with Geno, you have a little bit more consistency. Like he's had 3 pretty solid years as Seattle starter compared to Sam Darnold's 1 year this last year, plus the final 2 games of the season against the Lions and the final game, the postseason against the Rams are kind of bad. But I think this makes sense for Seattle. I think they see Sam Darnold more as a long-term guy compared to Geno. I mean, he is, again, like I said, he's 7 years younger. You could take more time building around him if he is the future guy compared to like Geno. Because, I mean, at the end of this deal, he'd be 30 compared to if Geno signed it, Geno would be 37. So I think this makes sense for Seattle. I think this is like kind of a good matchmaker situation, in my opinion.
I mean, they better run the ball. That's all I'm saying, because that's what they're built to do with what they currently have. Like I said, it's JSN, and then it's. I know Field Yates loves Jake Bobo. Like he is the biggest Jake Bobo guy in the world. And that's the number 2 wide receiver right now, Jake Bobo. Derek Young, a 2022 7th rounder, is the third receiver. And then they have Cody White, Jalen Darden, and John Rice Plumlee, a converted quarterback who played quarterback for the Steelers in the preseason last year, by the way. So yeah. Oh yeah, and by the way, Jimmy, it's like Viking City at quarterback almost for the Seattle. They got your boy Jaron Hall there too.
They just love our sloppy seconds, man.
All right, let's go to your Vikings now. Shelling out some cash. Kwesi Adofo-Mensah signing Colts guard Will Fries. 5 years, $88 million deal there for Will Fries. The fries. What kind of fries are we getting in Mini?
Would you like some fries with that? I like this pickup. I think Will Fries, was he 26? He's incredible interior offensive guard, which the Vikings have desperately needed. I mean, I've watched this team for the past decade. It feels like they just never have had a good interior guard my entire life. I mean, he is coming off a little bit of an injury, but I mean, he was elite. I mean, I think he could be elite. So I love this pickup. I think getting a guy at the top of his game, probably entering his prime, in a position the Vikings desperately need, I think it's great. And little side note, Seattle offered a 3-year, $50 million contract to Will Fries, but sorry, John, you can't have Sam Darnold with a side of fries. We get the fries.
Yeah, the Vikings offered $1 million more per year there. 17.6 per year. Pretty solid, I think, in terms of value. And Will Fry is really the top guard on the market after Trey Smith got franchised by Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
The only 5-year deal, by the way, that has been given out so far.
Yeah. And again, makes sense. He's 26,
Yeah. Titans signing Steelers offensive tackle Dan Moore Jr. 4 years, $82 million, $50 million guaranteed. This is horrendous, bro. Like, what are you doing in Tennessee if you're Ran Carthon? Like, my God. Or Mike Borgonzi, I mean. Ran Carthon, not there anymore. Mike Borgonzi, like, bro, like, did you learn nothing from Brett Veach in Kansas? You don't pay for tackles. That's the Kansas City way. He didn't bring that over with him. Like, this is horrendous for a guy that has never been elite. He's serviceable at best when he was with the Steelers. I don't know what you're doing. Like you need to fix the O-line, but this ain't the way, bro.
Yeah, I saw this deal, and my first reaction was, did they mean to? Like, was this on purpose?
I think they meant they dyslexic. They meant 28 million and 5 million.
Yeah, like, you're a Steelers fan, so you obviously know, but like all day I've seen just Steelers fans on Twitter being like, this guy's barely a rotational guy. Like,
he lost his starting job.
Yeah, like he wasn't good to start on the Steelers, a team that has had horrible offensive tackle play for a little bit. Like, Steelers were like desperate for an offensive tackle, and this guy couldn't step up. So I mean, I don't know. I think this is a bad signing. Like, I love signing trenches. You know me. I think you can afford to overpay offensive line and defensive line, but like this is still an overpay for a position of value. Like, this is rough.
And the biggest thing I've seen with Dan Moore is it's heavy feet. He has heavy feet. He struggles with speed rushers. Speed rushers are his biggest weakness, I think, because he's heavy-handed. He has good power in the run game for sure, but yeah, the pass protection he struggles, especially when you look at speed rushers.
Mm-hmm.
$20.5 million, by the way, per year there for Dan Moore. The Packers, they got some interior help, signed 49ers guard Aaron Banks, 4 years, $77 million, $63 million guaranteed there for Aaron Banks, along with Will Fry's top guards available there. And Packers definitely needed some interior help for Doran Love.
Yeah. I don't hate it as much as some people seem to hate it. Maybe a little too much term, but again, I think he's fine. Like, I'll just share his PFF rankings. Here's compared to Will Fry's. Will Fry's overall ranking 24, even though he missed like more than half the season. 86.9 overall grade, 4th amongst guards. In comparison, Aaron Banks, 65.4, 50th among guards. He's not good in the pass game, but he's a really good run blocker. And with Josh Jacobs coming in and being really good in this offense, I think Aaron Banks could be decent. Maybe a bit of an overpay, maybe a little more term. But again, he's 27, kind of similar to Will Fry's. Will Fry's 26, Banks 27. I think there's room to grow for him. So yeah, I think this is fine.
Yeah, slides right into left guard, keeps Elgton Jenkins at center, and maybe that means the Packers are going to let Josh Myers be because he's still available right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it, though. I liked it for sure. Former second-round pick for San Francisco. Cardinals, they signed Eagles defensive end Josh Sweat, 4 years, $76.4 million, $41 million guaranteed there. Reunites with his old defense coordinator, Jonathan Gannon, back in 2023 there, or 2022, I should say. Yeah, for Jonathan Gannon. Or no, yeah, 23, right? This was his first year. I don't remember.
No, he was 22 because last year was his first year as the head coach in Arizona. 2020, well, 2023 last year.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place, man.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. English is not my first
What we
language.
do know is that he coached him. We do know he coached him in Philadelphia. I don't know. I feel like I kind of like this deal better than the Milton Williams deal with New England. Um, However, it's an interesting one because I believe the Cards run a 3-4 base defense. I could be wrong. Yes, 3-4. So that's a little weird because personally, I like Josh Sweat as a 4-3 D end. They have a guy in Baron Browning who is very good at running 3-4 outside linebacker. I'm sure Josh Sweat can do it. I'm sure he can. He's got good size to do it. 6'4", 265. Again, though, that's a little heavy. For a 3-4 outside backer. You usually want your guys in the 250 range when you're an outside backer in a 3-4. So maybe he loses a little bit, maybe he doesn't. I don't know, but I think it's a solid signing. We shall see, though. Again, a guy who has never been a full-time starter.
Mm-hmm.
Colts signing Viking safety Cam Bynum, 4 years, $60 million, and we will pair it with their other $60 million defensive back signed 49ers corner Charvarius Ward, 3 years, $60 million. There. And then $35 million guaranteed for Ward. So 2 pair of $60 million DBs for Indianapolis. They're reshaping their secondary.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss Cam Ward.
Cam Bynum.
Oh, Cam Bynum. Wow, jeez, my bad. My mind went to Jeff. But yeah, I'm gonna miss Cam Bynum. I loved his celebration, leadership. He was very liked in the locker room. He loved in Minnesota. It really did just come down to a money thing. And hey, get paid. You know, this is the NFL. You only usually get one big contract, get paid. And Colts, you're getting a really good player. I have a ton of friends who are Colts fans. I went to college in Indy, so a lot of them all are Colts guys. So you're getting a really good safety. And getting them with Ward. Oh, that's where I was mixing it up. I put both their names together. Bynum and Ward, put them together.
To
But
make
yeah, Ward
Miami.
is.
Yep.
Yeah, so they become the Miami quarterback together. But I like what the Colts did on defense this offseason, Bynum and Ward especially. I think they got 2 really, really good defensive backs for a long period of time.
Yeah. I mean, I like it as well. They signed Kenny to an extension as well, I believe, earlier. And yeah, their secondary is starting to come together here. They still have Julian Blackman as a free agent and Ronnie Harrison at safety. So we'll see if they have enough money to get Blackman back because he's, I think, a key piece, played pretty well for them. But the Patriots, they signed Lions corner Carlton Davis III, 3 years, $60 million, $34.5 million fully guaranteed there. Guy coming off injury, didn't play a ton this year for Detroit after the trade. And we'll see. We'll see if he can resurrect his stuff. Patriots obviously paid like they think he will.
Mm-hmm. Again, same contract that Colts gave for Ward and Vikings gave for Murphy. So
yeah. Giants or the Vikings, I mean, they signed Commanders defense tackle Jonathan Allen, 3 years, $60 million.
Woo. Yeah, he was on a visit yesterday. Basically spent all day in the Vikings facility. Woke up this morning to this news. Yeah, he's the kind of interior defensive lineman the Vikings have been needing to go along with their other possible signing, which has not been confirmed yet. So I love Jonathan Allen. I know he has some injury concerns, plus his age. You know, he is 30, but I love this signing as a Viking fan. I think they found a need that they needed to get better at, and Kwesi did it immediately. So yeah, I love Jonathan. I think he's going to fit right into the system.
I'm not so sure about the deal. They're skeptics, and I'm one of them. Decline in production. And also they gave him 20 per year when they could have just traded for him for 1 year, 15.5 million.
Maybe, but they still probably like the idea of having him under team control for multiple seasons.
Yeah. Now to the Giants. They signed Saints corner Paulson Adebo, 3 years, $54 million. $38.5 million guaranteed. Taking a good chance on a player that has some youth to him. And yeah, I know some Saints people that I've talked to, Saints fans, they were hoping to get Adebo back, but Giants getting a solid piece to their secondary. That is really shaping out when you think about it, what the Giants have done to this secondary. We'll talk about another signing they had, but drafting Tyler Nubin and Drew Phillips last year. They got Deontay Banks the year before that. They still have some work to do with Adoree Jackson, Jason Pinnock, and they have Isaiah Simmons listed as a nickel. I don't know why. He's a linebacker. But they still have some guys that are free agents. So some work to do still. They got Cordell Flott in the 2022 draft as well. So, yeah, I think the Giants' youthful kind of secondary, and we'll see if it works out. 25 for Paulson Adebo, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna turn 26 in July.
By the way, to get more information on Jonathan Allen contract, base value of $51 million, $3 million yearly incentives. That makes him 19th highest paid interior defensive lineman.
Nice.
I like it. I think the incentives help too.
Let's go to another interior D lineman. Panthers signing Chiefs defense tackle Tershawn Wharton. 3 years, $54 million. $30 million guaranteed for Wharton there. I have heard the bashing of this deal, and I'm not opposed to it though. I really don't understand it. He's a decent player, but again, just like Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, never been really a full-time guy, and his run stopping wasn't the greatest either last year. So I don't know. I don't think, at least right now, that I would project him to get a ton of sack production. Sticking with Carolina, they signed Raiders safety Trayvon Merrick. 3 years, $51 million, $60 million max value there. This is the opposite side. I really love this deal. I thought they were going to be in on Javon Holland. I think they were, potentially. But getting Trayvon Merrick is not a bad consolation prize either. Excellent season last year in Vegas. And really more of a in-the-box type of guy, which is fine because they released Jack Thompson. They need kind of a hybrid safety linebacker anyways, which they used to have in Jeremy Chin. Haven't had that in a while, but yeah, I like it. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, they signed Colts edge rusher Deo Odingbo, 3 years, $48 million, $32 million fully guaranteed there. Yeah, up and coming player.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of hype for Odingbo.
Yeah, didn't have the greatest year last year. But again, he's 25, so there's a ton of room to grow. PFF doesn't love him, especially in run defense. But I would say he's about above average around the league at this point in his career, which is good for a 25-year-old.
Yeah, I wish someone would have paid me $48 million to be 25 years old.
Yeah.
The Packers, they signed Raiders corner Nate Hobbs, 4 years, $48 million, $16 million guaranteed there. Interesting one. Another Raiders player that played very well last season on a lost team, but is he really going to fill that Jair Alexander spot that they want so badly someone to fill because they want to trade Alexander?
Who knows?
The Rams, they signed Jets wide receiver Devontae Adams, 2 years, $46 million, $26 million guaranteed there. I thought this was pretty good signing for Sean McVay and co. Pair him with Puka Nacua. Commanders, they signed Jets defense tackle Javon Kinlaw, 3 years, $45 million, $30 million guaranteed there for Kinlaw. So there's their replacement for Jonathan Allen, essentially. Paid $15 million less for a younger guy. Broncos, they signed 49ers safety Talanoa Hufanga, 3 years, $45 million, $20 million guaranteed. Love this play from Denver, man. Talanoa Hufanga is one of my favorite players. And it's probably just the hair, but he reminds you of Troy Polamalu. He really does. He flies all over the field, can make excellent pass breakups and coverage. Yeah, I love it for Denver. That's excellent signing. Giants, they signed Dolphin safety Javon Holland, 3 years, $45.3 million, $46.8 million max value, $30.3 million guaranteed there. Surprise, kind of, at the money. And again, Carolina paid Trayvon Merrick more than they did Javon Holland. But, yeah, I don't know. Holland's beat. Two different players, though, for sure. Holland, more of the coverage, free safety. Merrick, more of the box, strong safety, hybrid guy.
Mm-hmm.
The Bears, they signed Falcons defensive tackle Grady Jarrett, 3 years, $43.5 million, $28.5 million fully guaranteed. Jarrett, one of two guys that lasted like about a hot second on the open market before he got scooped up by a team. Released by Atlanta, signed by Chicago essentially the same day. A couple hours apart, I guess. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it was kind of wild that Atlanta even released him. He was a staple of their franchise for so many years, and we'll see. I don't know. I feel like Chicago's done this before. They've taken chances on elder statesmen at D tackle and D line in general, and it has never worked out, except for Julius Peppers.
Yeah, he was more of an edge rusher then.
Right. That's why I said D line in general. D tackle and D line in general. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see if Jarrett has more left. Patriots, they signed Titans edge rusher Harold Landry III, 3 years, $43.5 million, $48 million max value, $26 million fully guaranteed. Of course, this is going to happen. Titans released him. Of course, he was going to go back to his coach, Mike Vrabel. Yeah, I mean, it makes a ton of sense. Patriots need a pass rush. They traded Matt Judon last year early in the season to the Falcons, and Landry, I still think, has some juice left, and I was shocked Titans released him, and not shocked, though, Patriots picked him up. Excellent value for New England as well on the cap. Love this. Grade A signing for New England. The Bears, again here, signing Falcons center Drew Dahlman, 3 years, $42 million, $28 million guaranteed there at Chicago. Really trying to shore up the pass protection for Caleb Williams. They're doing a good job, essentially. Drew Dahlman got the two guards in the trades, Joe Tooney, Jonah Jackson. So they have their three interior starters there for 2025 set up.
Yeah, they finally figured out, hey, Caleb Williams shouldn't die. Let's get him some help. And I'm blown away. I really like the Dahlman pickup. Dahlman, kind of like his teammate, Grady Jarrett was kind of a last-minute addition to the free agency field, and Bears basically got what I would consider the best or second best center of the free agency class for pretty good deal.
Sure. The only thing I have on Drew Dalman is that he went to Washington State. The Jets got their quarterback. They signed Steelers quarterback Justin Fields, 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed there. Sure, go ahead, Jets. Why not?
Yeah, that's the going rate for quarterbacks. So
yeah, the Steelers are never gonna pay that shit. So
wait until you see what they give Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, okay.
Don't speak too soon, my friend.
A-Rod's got to pay us to We'll pay him one darkness retreat a month. Anyways, yeah, I mean, sure, Justin Fields back, reunited with his college teammate Garrett Wilson from the Ohio State days, and he improved in Pittsburgh for sure. For sure, he did. It's just, will Aaron Glenn be able to get his offensive staff to get the most out of him? I do not know. Especially because the Jets still have question marks at offensive line.
Yeah.
Patriots, they signed Raiders linebacker Robert Spillane, 3 years, $37 million. Love my boy Spillane getting paid. Former Pittsburgh Steeler before he went to the Raiders. And yeah, why not? People loves his linebackers, man. Bills, they signed Chargers wide receiver Josh Palmer, 3 years, $36 million, $18 million guaranteed. I was really surprised at this deal. I was like, bruh, Josh Palmer getting 12 a year, damn.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for a guy that has separation issues.
He's just like never produced other than that one season where Mike Williams and Keenan Allen were hurt. And like Justin Herbert, that's all he had to throw to. So
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I know the Bills need wide receivers, so I guess this doesn't shock me too much.
Yeah, but they let one of theirs go, and we'll talk about that in a second, for a lot less money. The Jets, they signed Ravens corner Brandon Stevens, 3 years, $36 million, $23 million, fully guaranteed there for Brandon Stevens. That's an interesting one. Ravens really soured on him, former third-round pick. And, yeah, the Jets liked it, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of money for a guy that, I mean, I'm going to be honest, isn't great. Especially for term. I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, for sure. And I forgot to mention one at the top there, top-er of the market. Lions getting Jets corner DJ Reed, 3 years, $48 million, $32 million guaranteed there for DJ Reed. Excellent. One of the top corners on the market, if not the top guy. And Detroit desperately needed secondary help, so get it.
Yeah, this is a guy I really wanted on the Vikings, so I hate to see him go to Detroit.
The Broncos signed 49ers linebacker Drake Greenlaw, 3 years, $35 million. I was surprised a lot at that deal. Coming off the Achilles, where he played one game this year. He played week 18. That was it. So we'll see. We'll see if he's back to 100%, coming into 2025. But a lot of money for Denver to spend on a guy that didn't play except for one game last year.
Yeah. But I think in terms of his positional value, I think this might be an underpayment if you get him back to at least somewhat of his former form.
Oh, yeah.
But again, that is hoping that he gets back to former form.
The Saints, they signed chief safety Justin Reed, 3 years, $31.5 million, $22.5 million fully guaranteed there. Yeah, I mean, him and Honey Badger Similar career path. Texans to the Chiefs to the Saints. So at least they have something in common. And he can kick. All right, Justin Reed can kick. The Chiefs, his former team, signing 49ers off to tackle Jalen Moore, 2 years, $30 million, $21.24 million fully guaranteed. And he's expected now to come in and be the guy, or at least compete with Kingsley Suamataia at left tackle. I don't know. Jalen Moore, like some other guys I've talked about, has never been a full-time starter. So,
yeah. This reminds me too much of God, what was his name? We just talked about him. Dan Moore Jr.
Yep.
Yeah, this gives me bad Dan Moore vibes.
Yeah. The Chiefs are grasping at straws, man. They can't figure out how to get a good tackle. The Jags, they signed Cowboys corner Jordan Lewis, 3 years, $30 million. $20 million fully guaranteed. I really like that for Jacksonville. Needed some secondary help. And Jordan Lewis, maybe the top nickel / slot in free agency.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots back at it again, signing Jets off to tackle Morgan Moses, 3 years, $24 million, $28.5 million max value. I hate this deal for New England. I loved most of their moves, but you're giving a 3-year deal to a freaking 34-year-old offensive tackle that struggled again as a Jet last year. I have no clue what they're doing with that one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the AAV. I think $8 million a year is pretty cheap, but I think term is interesting.
Yeah. The Bills, they signed Rams linebacker Michael Hoyt, 3 years, $24 million. Pretty solid value for a pass rusher. We talked about that earlier. Guy, it's going to be a rotational piece. Again, though, it's a weird one. I think it's a weird one. Bills run a 4-3 base. Michael Hoyt's coming from all the years in LA as a 3-4 outside backer. It's an odd transition.
Mm-hmm.
The Dolphins, they signed Steelers offensive lineman James Daniels, 3 years, $24 million. Like that, Miami needed some interior help on both sides of the ball. Jags signed a Texans safety Eric Murray, 3 years, $22.5 million, $12 million guaranteed there. Sure. I don't really have a ton on that one. Jags also signed Bucs center Robert Hainsey, 3 years, $21 million. $13 million guaranteed there. Of course, Hainsey comes over with Liam Cohen from Tampa, so familiarity with the offense paramount, especially at the pivot there. So I think it's going to be a solid addition for Trevor Lawrence. Panthers signing Rams defense tackle Bobby Brown III, 3 years, $21 million, 27 max value. Yeah, I heard people crapping on this deal, but at the same time, man. For one, it's $7 million for a defensive lineman, which is a bargain bin shopping, and for two, he was one of the better run stoppers on the open market this year. So,
yeah. Again, the cap's going up. Guys are going to get paid.
And the Panthers had the worst, by far, run defense in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Titans, they signed Broncos linebacker Cody Barton, 3 years, $21 million. So, I really like that for Tennessee. Traded Ernest Jones last year, and yeah, I love Cody Barton. He's a pretty good player. 49ers signed Jags tight end Luke Farrell, 3 years, $20.25 million, $11 million guaranteed. This one was a shocker. I thought I was like, that. What are the the 49ers lost all these players, and they're spending $20.25 million on a tight end too.
Yeah. You think they'd have other priorities.
They still need to sign Brock Purdy, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Former 3rd round pick though. Sure. Oh. Chiefs, they signed Chargers corner Christian Fulton, 2 years, $20 million, $20.5 million max value, $15 million fully guaranteed there for Christian Fulton. Had an excellent year in LA. Stays in division here, goes to Kansas City. Panthers signed Vikings defensive end Pat Jones, said the second, 2 years, $20 million deal. Tell me what I'm getting, Jimmy.
You're getting a very good rotational guy that had a very, very productive season. And he's young too. I mean, he's only 26.
I know he's a Pitt
Um,
Panther.
what was that?
I know he's a Pitt Panther.
Oh yeah, good Panther. And I mean, 7 sacks this year. I mean, he had a great season. You're just hoping he continues to find the form he found this year in Brian Flores' offense. But yeah, I liked him. He was a guy I wanted the Vikings to bring back. Um, I think if you can get, you know, similar production from him, I think 2 years, 10 million per is honestly great value.
Yeah, they don't have him listed on. Oh, they have him. Oh, that's because they're in a 3-4 now. Okay, I did not know that.
Mm.
Okay, my bad. Anyways, yeah, he's got his former teammate there with him already. So DJ won him.
Mhm.
Boys can chop it up. The Giants, they signed Cowboys defenseman Chauncey Golston, 3 years, 19.5 million. Pretty solid year in Dallas last year, staying in division. Your Vikes getting Colts center Ryan Kelly, 2 years, 18 million.
I love it. I think when we had our offensive line free agency preview, this is the guy I remember talking about and wanting to get him to Minnesota, and getting him 2 years, $18 million deal, pairing him back up with Will Fries. I think this is great. I really like Kelly. I was tired of Garrett Bradbury. I was done with him. I think Ryan Kelly's an immediate upgrade to Bradbury.
Yeah, Kelly, excellent player.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders, they signed commander safety Jeremy Chin, 2 years, 16 million there. Similar player that they lost actually to the Falcons in linebacker Devon Diablo, 2 years, 14 million, 8 million guaranteed there for Atlanta. Yeah, Jeremy Chin, really solid couple years in Washington. Bengals, they signed Packers defense tackle TJ Slayton, 2 years, 15.1 million. I thought that one was an interesting deal. $7.51 million per year for a guy that doesn't do much.
Yeah, but I think if you're the Bengals, you just need to get anyone in the room.
But I guess, like I said, though, with Bobby Brown, that's is the kind of the going rate for a run-stopping defense tackle, $7 million.
Yeah.
The Vikes striking again, signing Eagles corner Isaiah Rodgers, 2 years, 15 million, coming in to be the nickel.
Yeah. Tell me what I'm getting. You know this guy.
Yeah, I mean he was kind of mired on the depth chart this year, with all the new guys, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. But he stepped up when he had to. When we had injuries to Darius Slate and Q, he played outside. He can play inside, outside. Positional versatility there, and it was crazy that he was the guy that got burned. I'm forgetting what game it was. I think it was the NFC Championship, maybe. He had gotten burned for a touchdown, and then he's the guy that picked up a fumble and returned it for a bunch of yards there. So I thought it was interesting. So pretty solid player, though. Again, positionally versatile. So, yeah. Bucks, they signed Jets edge rusher Hassan Reddick, 1 year, 14 million, 12 million guaranteed. So Reddick, third team in 3 years. Sure. The Colts, they signed Vikings quarterback Daniel Jones, 1 year, 14 million, 17.7 million max value, 13.15 million fully guaranteed. And it's on in Indianapolis. Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones for the week 1 starting gig in Indy. What a time.
What a time. Remember how I was saying I really like the Colts offseason signings on defense? I don't like this one. I get it's just a year. But yeah, I didn't like this one a ton. Not that there was a ton of quarterbacks out there, but I don't know. Hey, thanks for the comp pick in 2026. Vikings will appreciate that.
7th rounder.
Woo!
It might be a little bit more.
I think it's like at this rate, I think it's either 4th or 5th.
The Chargers, they signed Steelers running back Najee Harris, or Steelers corner, I should say, Dante Jackson. 2 years, $13 million. I was foreshadowing. $13 million for Dante Jackson there. Yeah, sure. I mean, he never really produced as much as I wanted him to in Pittsburgh, and sure. Giants, they signed Browns off the tackle James Hudson to a 2-year, $12 million deal. Kind of surprised at that one, but again, not really. When the cap is going up, like you said, in these lower level money deals, it's like it's chump change at this point. Cardinals, they signed Bengals linebacker Akeem Davis-Gaither, 2 years, $11 million. I thought that was solid for Jonathan Gannon's defense. Giants, they signed Seahawks defense tackle Roy Robertson-Harris, 2 years, $10 million. Steelers signing Ravens linebacker Malik Harrison, 2 years, $10 million. Second time in a couple years Steelers have signed a Ravens linebacker. Titans signed Panthers safety Xavier Woods, 2 years, $10 million. Jags signed Commanders wide receiver De'Ami Brown, 1 year, $10 million, $12 million max value. I heard some scuffling about that deal there, that it was pretty high for De'Ami Brown, but nonetheless. The Jets, they signed Jags safety Andre Cisco, 1 year, $10 million. I thought that's a great deal for the Jets. I'm really high on Cisco. I don't know. Falcons signed 49ers edge rusher Leonard Floyd, 1 year, $10 million. Just like Grady Jarrett, released one day and signed a couple hours later. His was actually like 15 minutes. Like it was pretty quick on Twitter to just. But back in Georgia, where he went to UGA, go Dogs. Chargers, here it is. Signed Steelers running back Najee Harris, 1 year, $9.25 million. Getting their replacement for J.K. Dobbins. I was kind of on the fence. I thought they should have re-signed J.K. Especially when you look at you're signing Najee. J.K. Dobbins is much more explosive than Najee Harris is. Najee's more powerful, but you had that in Gus Edwards. Although Gus Edwards was not even close to Najee in terms of explosiveness. And also Najee, very underrated pass catcher, though, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Patriots signed Bills wide receiver Matt Collins, 2 years, $8.4 million, $10.4 million max value. Again, we signed Josh Palmer for $36 million. Matt Collins had a great year last year. I know he's not like as fast or whatever, as Josh Palmer, but I don't know. I like Matt Collins. Plus, he doesn't wear shoes. The Cowboys, they signed Jets defense tackle Solomon Thomas, 2 years, $8 million. Texans signing Bengals defense tackle Sheldon Rankins, 1 year, $7 million. The Jaguars signed Vikings quarterback Nick Mullins, 2 years, $6.5 million, $3 million guaranteed there.
My guy, my third down hero. I think he came in twice last year. What was that?
He's going to be with his boy Udinsky down in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah, I like this. Jax, get ready for to put him in twice in a year, both on third downs, and he's going to make the most exciting completion for first down in your life. That's the 2 completions he had this last year. They were third down pass completions for first down, and it was awesome. So I love Nick Mullins. I'm going to miss him. Just one of those backups you fall in love with just because of silly things he does. He also had a great end of last year when he was basically the only healthy quarterback the Vikings had left, and he just slung the ball. He didn't give a crap. He just threw it everywhere. So it'll be really exciting to see what he can be.
The Bucks, they signed Broncos punter Riley Dixon, 2 years, $6 million. The Dolphins have a new backup quarterback. They signed Broncos quarterback Zach Wilson, 1 year, $6 million, fully guaranteed, $10 million max value, and I like it. QB2 is one of my needs, actually, for Miami. I thought they needed to upgrade that. Tyler Huntley just was not it last year. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe Zach Wilson's not it either, but I think he's an upgrade nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
especially because he did look pretty solid in the preseason with Denver. Ravens, they signed Chiefs wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins 1 year, $6 million. So Lamar gets a new weapon, and yeah, I don't know. He's washed, man. I feel like he did not do very great in Kansas City, and of course, the lasting impression for D Hop this year is the big drop in the Super Bowl.
Mm.
Texans signed Bears defensive end Darrell Taylor 1 year, $5.25 million. Jaguars signing Rams tight end Hunter Long 2 years, $5 million, $6 million max value. Bengals signed Eagles linebacker Oren Burks 2 years, $5 million. Talking about the Bengals needing to get anyone they can, any bodies in on defense. Oren Burks not very good. He was serviceable though. He played okay when we needed him to. Seahawks, they signed Ravens offensive lineman Josh Jones 1 year, $4.75 million. The Dolphins, they signed Lions safety Ifatu Melifonwu 1 year, $4 million. Raiders signed Packers corner Eric Stokes 1 year, $4 million. Former first round pick there going to Vegas. The Chiefs signed 49ers running back Elijah Mitchell 1 year, $3.5 million. And the Cowboys, they signed former Saints first rounder defensive end Peyton Turner 1 year, $3 million. Few million guaranteed there. Cowboys signing Broncos running back Javonte Williams 1 year, $3 million, $3.5 million max value. Raiders signed Steelers linebacker Elandon Roberts 1 year, $3 million. I was disappointed. I thought the Steelers should have re-signed him, especially at that amount of money. Panthers signed Bills punter Sam Martin 1 year, $3 million. The 49ers, they signed Rams wide receiver Demarcus Robinson 2 years, $9.5 million there for guy that has played pretty well. $6 million fully guaranteed for DeMarcus Robinson in San Francisco. Patriots signed 49ers quarterback Josh Dobbs to a 2-year deal. Rams signing Bears center Coleman Shelton to a 2-year deal back in LA. Titans signed Panthers punter Johnny Hecker to a 1-year contract. Jags signing Ravens offensive lineman Patrick McCarry. Texans signed Chiefs wide receiver Justin Watson. The Vikings signed 49ers defense tackle Javon Hargrave. I have not seen any numbers on that, though.
Yeah, I'm still looking.
And the Cardinals, they signed Patriots quarterback Jacoby Brissett, new backup for Kyler Murray out in the desert.
We have another signing. This happened during the show. Demarcus Robinson, wide receiver of the Rams, goes to that. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Ah, sorry.
$9.5 million, $6 million fully guaranteed.
My bad. All right, my bad. I was so excited to say it.
All right. We are finally done. No, JK, we got more picks.
Lol, we're not done.
Another hour.
Woo!
Anyways, Texans 25, 58, 89. Rams got 26, 90, and a third round comp pick, which we can tell you officially what that number is. It is going to be number 101 for LA in the third round. So let's get to it, I guess. Sure. As I'm falling asleep. All right, Texans, Rams. Here we go. All right, what do we got here? Cam Ward, Titans. Browns going. Will Campbell. Okay, there we go.
All right. I don't hate that pick.
Fireworks, Ashton Genty. All right, there we go. Abdul Carter, the Patriots. Let's even out here. Mason Graham to the Jags. All right. Where's Travis Hunter going? Shador Sanders to the Raiders. Travis Hunter to the Jets. There it goes. Panthers getting Armand Membu. Shamar Stewart to the Saints. Where are the Bears going? Kelvin Banks. That's a great one.
I like Kelvin a lot.
Oh, Colts coming up for Tyler Warren. 14 and 80 going to San Francisco. Tetsuroa McMillan to the Cowboys. Jalen Walker for the Dolphins. 49ers going Tyler Booker filling Aaron Banks' spot. Will Johnson for the Falcons. Cards going Michael Williams. Chargers coming up for James Pierce, 22 and 86 going to Cincinnati. Malachi Starks for the Seahawks. Derek Harmon to the Bucks. Broncos, Emeka Egbuka. Screw you. I wanted him for the Steelers. Matthew Golden for the Steelers. All right. Luther Burden, run on receivers. Wow. No signing T. Higgins back? I don't know. Luther Burden to the Bengals. Jahad Campbell for the Packers. There's your Vikings getting Jahdae Barron.
Hmm.
Wow, what an offer from Carolina. I to be honest, I was thinking about the Carolina offer, but that's a lot of picks.
Mm-hmm.
It looked very intriguing, especially you're getting a second rounder next year. Oh my goodness, you're getting a second, a third, a fourth, and a second next year.
I don't hate
That's
it,
a
but
lot.
I think with what we talked about earlier, I think the Texans do need to get offensive line help, and they need a first round caliber offensive lineman.
Yeah, we should have traded up.
Yeah, it really should have. I think with
We
what's
should have
happened so
Calvin
far,
Banks.
yeah. What with what's happened so far, I think they should trade up if let's say a guy like Kelvin Banks drops. I think if Kelvin Banks gets past like 12 or 13, I think the Houston Texans should start just making the calls. But who do we have here at offensive line? It could be guard or tackle. I don't think.
But again, though, when you look at it just on paper, I don't hate their offensive line. I really don't. Blake Fisher, a second round pick last year at left tackle. Titus Howard's been doing his thing at right tackle since 2019. Deuce Scruggs, a second rounder in 23 at right guard. Derek Patterson, a sixth rounder in 23 at center. They signed Laken Tomlinson, who I did mention is 33 years old. They signed him from Seattle this offseason. Kendrick Green is still a free agent. But other than that, it's the depth that they really don't have. They have Ladarius Henderson, who they drafted in the 7th round last year. Austin DeCoulis, who they drafted in the 6th round in 2022. So yeah, I mean, I could see them going O-line. Let's just see what I did have as their needs before the madness happened. And also, I don't think I updated it either for the wide receiver. I had interior defensive line. So they kind of did that. Sheldon Rankins, they signed. They re-signed Mario Edwards. Folo Fadakasi is still available. Okay, I had interior D line, corner, linebacker, safety, and wide receiver. Corner, they needed depth. The Jeff Okuda, Miles Bryant, Kadar Hallman, Chris Boyd, all free agents. They signed Tremont Smith from the Broncos, but other than that, they still don't have much corner depth at all on the roster. Linebacker, they signed Nick Neiman. They have Neville Hewitt as a free agent, Devin White as well. Again, linebacker I think was a depth thing. I like 2020 and Al-Shair. Safety, they figured that out with the trade for CJ Gardner-Johnson. That's fine. I like their safety room now. And wide receiver, they sort of figured out a little bit. Obviously, Tank Dell's not going to be back for a while. John Mechie has had his own injury issues. Xavier Hutchinson hasn't produced, even though he was only a sixth rounder in 2023. But, they traded for Christian Kirk. They signed Braxton Berrios. They signed Justin Watson. They still got Robert Woods and Stephon Diggs as free agents available. So wide receiver, I think, would definitely be up there. However, we do not have any wide receivers available.
Yeah. I just think they also just have more pressing needs, even if, let's say, a guy like Luther Burden was somehow still available. I don't know.
I don't hate the Josh Simmons pick. It would be as a swing tackle, or you could start him at left tackle, or throw Titus Howard back to left tackle, over to left tackle, put Simmons at right, and have Blake Fisher as your swing.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two Ohio State guys make a ton of sense here: Josh Simmons or Tyleik Williams. I like Tyleik's run stoppage. I like how he fills in gaps. I like Simmons a lot here. I think if I were the Texans with how much they lost in terms of offensive line, I know they have decent depth. I know they have guys that could probably start this coming year. I think Josh Simmons makes sense. I don't hate Cameron Williams from Texas either.
I would not be against Gray Zabel either. He can play all 5.
I like Zabel too. My only problem is I worry about just the level of competition he faced. I don't know. Again,
Right.
FCS is still for a very solid league, so who knows? But yeah, I think Simmons, Williams, or Zabel would be good. I think Williams is also an okay pick here. But I'm going to go best offensive lineman, whatever you decide. I think best offensive lineman at 25 would be Josh Simmons. So that's who I'd throw my vote for.
Yeah, I'm in on that. All right, we got the Rams here. Yep, there we go. Again, very enticing. Very enticing.
Ooh, I don't like that.
They're throwing some good ones out there. All right. For the Rams, what did I have? I did have corner, which they do still need. They haven't re-signed Akella Witherspoon yet, and I do not like their corner group other than Darius Williams. Wide receiver, they figured that out with Devontae Adams. DeMarcus Robinson hurts to go, but they re-signed Tutu Atwell. They have Jordan Whittington, and they got Devontae and Puka Nacua. They're going to release Cooper Kupp. I don't think wide receiver is as big of an issue now as it was when we weren't going to have Cooper Kupp and we're just going to have Puka. Linebacker, I think, is definitely still a need. Troy Reader, Christian Roseboom, both still free agents.
Mm-hmm.
So they need inside linebacker help right now. Center is a big one. They did sign Coleman Shelton back after a year in Chicago. He's going to compete, I guess, with their 6th rounder last year out of Arkansas, Bo Limmer. Will it work out? Maybe. They also have former draft pick of the Eagles, Dylan McMahon, on the roster as well from NC State. And then quarterback, I don't think that's a big issue either anymore. Jimmy Garoppolo re-signed, Matthew Stafford restructured, whatever it was, and Steady Bennett still on the roster. So
yeah,
I
I'm
like
almost leaning towards accepting a trade. I like Revel.
Nope.
Revel. I'm sorry. I think if you're sticking, I would take Revel, but I kind of like trading back and getting more depth guys. I kind of liked the deals that were offered, but if we're sticking and picking, I'd go Revel.
I think you have to.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty solid value, I think, for Siobhan Revel. He was gonna be a solidified top 15, potentially even top 10 pick with this year. Tore the ACL early in the year, but should be good, I heard, by training camp. So that's your hope if you're a Rams fan. But I like it. Before we make this pick and I say all the other picks here, we have breaking news. Joey Bosa has signed with the Buffalo Bills, 1 year, $12.6 million.
Wow.
Yeah. Cha-ching. And I would have to think that ends the possibility of a younger, and they paid him a decent amount. So,
yeah.
All right, Siobhan Revel to the Rams here. What are the Ravens going? Nicky Manwari. That I was thinking about that pick, but Tyreek Williams to the Lions. There you go, Jimmy. Colston Love for Washington. That doesn't make sense. Xavier Watts to the Bills. Chiefs going Cameron Williams. That one makes a lot of sense. Eagles, Nick Scorton. Let's go. Hey, Browns getting a quarterback, Jackson Dart. Trey Amos for the Giants. Titans going Walter Nolan. Jags Wyatt Millum. Raiders going Azariah Thomas. Ariante Ursary for the Patriots. Harold Fannin for the Bears. Saints going Gray Zabel. That's an excellent pick for them. Oh, Bengals coming up for Donovan Jackson. 49.86 going to LA. Donovan Ezerawaku for the Jets. Maxwell Harrison for San Fran. That's a great pick. Marion Hampton. There's the Cowboys running back to pair with Javonte Williams. Trey Harris for the Colts. Kenneth Grant for the Falcons. That's the Grady Jarrett replacement. Alec A.O. Manor for the Cards. Benjamin Morrison for the Dolphins. Bears going Mike Green.
Well, that'd be insane value at 49.
Yeah. I said LA. The Bengals actually traded back with or traded up with the Bears. My bad. Seahawks. Oh, Jalen Milroe. Going to sit behind Sam Darnold. Josh Connolly for the Broncos. Jonas Avainea for the Steelers. Princely Umanmielen for the Bucks. Jack Sawyer for the Packers. I like that. Darian Porter for the Chargers. Also like that one. Xavier Restrepo to the Bills. Love it. Panthers going Landon Jackson. Let's go. All right, we're back on with Texans here. That's a solid offer.
That's good value.
Woo! 2 picks. But do we want to move 3 spots? That's the biggest question. And so we got Josh Simmons. What other holes do we have with the Houston Texans? I do think running back is a potential right here. You have Joe Mixon still, but obviously he's older. They did re-sign Dario Gumbawale. They still have Damian Pierce, but Damian Pierce is going into the last year of his rookie deal. So I would lean running back. If we had wide receivers available, which do we?
Isaiah Bond.
We do. Yeah. Oh, Jaden Higgins as well. Jalen Noel. We got running backs and wide receivers. That's the way I'd go. I'd go one of those 2.
Yeah, let's see that first trade offer. Maybe we could trade back
3 spots, and you're trading a 5th rounder this year for a 3rd rounder next year.
I think you could still obviously get one of those guys at this position at 61 and then pick up a 3rd. I would accept this trade and let's get more value.
Yeah, I don't hate it. You got like 6 guys available that we want. So
yeah, it just you pick whoever you want.
And they came up for a running back, Caleb Johnson. Deion Walker for the Ravens. Lions going Isaiah Bond. So there's 2 of the guys. What other trade offers are we going to get here?
Doesn't look like it.
None. All right. So we're sticking.
I like Higgins.
Yeah. Bigger dude. And I think that would pair well with what they have. Nico Collins is also on the bigger side. And then they have a bunch of smaller-ish guys. You know, Christian Kirk is 5'10", and Tank Dell is 5'9", I believe, 5'8". I wanted to say 5'8". I knew he was 5'8". And then John Mechie's 5'11". Braxton Berrios also minuscule 5'8", as is Justin Watson. Oh, Justin Watson's actually a lot bigger than I thought, 6'2". And Xavier Hutchinson's big, 6'1", but almost 6'2". But I don't know. I like having the size to go with Nico. 2 6'4" guys out there with Christian Kirk running in the slot at 5'11". And then obviously once Tank Dell gets back, he will run with the starters as well. So, yeah, I like it.
Yeah, and picked up a 3rd round pick next year. I think that's good value.
Yep. Bills going Marcus Embo. JT Tuimoloau for the Falcons. 117 and a second next year for Atlanta. Let's go. More Georgia linemen to the Eagles. Tate Ratledge. Go Dogs. Emory Jones to the Giants. Travion Henderson. Broncos coming up for a running back. 85, 121, and 210. Interdivision trade to the Chiefs. Go Dogs. Jared Wilson going to the Browns. Kevin Winston for the Raiders. Quinshon Judkins, the Patriots. TJ Sanders, Chiefs coming back up with the Jags 85 and 121 to get TJ Sanders. Cowboys coming up for Alfred Collins, 76 and 150 to the Saints. We got Jack Besh to the Bears. Raiders going Kyron Lacey. Lathan Ransom to the Panthers. Kyle Kennard for the 49ers. Mason Taylor for the Saints. Tez Johnson for the Patriots. Andrew Makuba for the Cards. Jalen Noel for the Commanders. We got Barrett Carter for the 49ers. Denzel Burke for the Bengals. Chris Paul for the Bucks. Dorian Strong for the Steelers. Jalen Royals for the Seahawks. Carson Schlesinger to the Jags. Bears going DJ Giddens. Ty Felton for the Packers. Hold on. Gunnar Helm to the Jags. Let's get caught up on all these freaking trades. So, yeah, 49ers. That was the Tyler Warren pick. Bucks came up a couple spots for Chris Paul. This was the other pick that the Seahawks went back to. Jags, they traded back with the Chiefs, and the Bears, this was the Donovan Jackson trade back. So we are now on the phone for Houston, and the Vikings want to come up, Jimmy. 8 spots.
Giving up 100 spots later in the draft for 8. However, I like Omar Norman Lott, and I like him for Houston. I'm kind of a fan of his game.
Yeah. I don't hate it. Sucks we don't have any secondary players.
Yeah.
It's really what I was looking for was corner. Yeah. I mean, the only other thing, which it's way too early to do anyways, I Quinn Ewers is there. I think they have struggled in terms of backup. Case Keenum is a free agent. Davis Mills is still there. But I think Quinn Ewers definitely an upgrade. We still didn't get a running back, but I think all the running backs already. Oh, no. Bro, we should go Cam Scatterboo. He's a beast.
Really?
He's a beast.
I like him. I don't know. I think he's a late riser, and I'm always worried about late risers.
I love him.
I think he's fine. I still like Norman Lott. I'm gonna stick with Norman Lott here. I would go him. I think he would be good value. I think with the edge rushers that Houston has and Anderson and Hunter, I think you need a guy up the middle. Norman Lott can do that for you. I don't disagree with a running back need. I think Houston thinks they're competitive now, and I think they need to get guys that could immediately start and at worst be rotational. That's why I'm not a fan of Ewers here, 3rd round. I think that would just create an unnecessary QB controversy because you know how the media works. You draft a QB anywhere higher than day 3 when you have a starting quarterback and it's going to start something. Scatterboo's fine. I don't know. I think Houston running backs are fine. I think they just need more beef up the middle on the defensive side of the ball. And I think Norman Lott works.
Nope, I'm going Scatterboo.
All right, fine.
All right, we're on with the Rams. No trades. So, we got Siobhan Revel in the 1st round. We got 2 third-rounders. Yeah, 90 and 100. So, with the corner pick in tow now, which I wish we would have had for Houston. Let's see. We need linebackers. And we need edge as well. They have actually no, the edge depth is okay, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say do we got linebackers here? No, not really. So I mean, maybe we just go Omar Norman Lott. They signed Puna Ford, and I mean they have guys on the interior D line, but I would be okay with going any of the defense here.
Yeah. I
That's all
don't
we got,
think
really.
yeah, I don't think they need I don't think they need edge. I think D tackle makes more sense. I'll just say you could go Savion Williams here. I know they did get Adams. I agree, but they're also losing Cup and they lost to Marcus Robinson. Maybe you need more wide receiver depth. We've talked a lot about Savion. I like Savion a lot. I think he brings a lot of size. If I'm remembering correctly, he brings a lot of size. I think he could be a good sideline and deep threat once he gets his feet underneath him. And when you have a guy like Adams, you don't have to rush Savion in to be the everyday guy. But I think he could be a pretty decent prospect for this team.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I like Shamar Turner if we're gonna go one of the D tackles.
Yeah.
I like the Texas A&M boys.
Yeah. I would go either, if you're doing D tackle, I'd go Norman Lott or Turner. I think if he's available at 100, maybe we can revisit Savion.
All right, Ravens going Elijah Arroyo. Jets Ozzy Trapilo. Oh, Vikings coming out for Norman Lott, 97, 161. Jared Ivey to the Browns, Braden Swinson for the Chiefs. Eagles going Sebastian Castro, back-to-back drafts, Iowa corners. Oh, Savion Williams for the Saints. Dylan Fairchild, go Dogs for the Dolphins. Howard Cross for the 49ers. We have a trade offer, 106 to move up next year in the 2 spots for a 6th rounder. We go to the 4th round and we say goodnight.
Nah. I have a ballsy pick here. With this position being kind of old on the Rams, maybe Quinn Ewers. Yeah.
I would be okay
Quinn Ewers.
I would be okay with it.
Yeah, I like Quinn Ewers here. I would, if I were the Rams, Garoppolo obviously is older on a backup. Stafford's older. He's still producing, but of course he's older in injury history, and I don't think Stenson Bennett's ever going to be a starter in the NFL. But Quinn, I like him. I think he could be a solid backup for a couple years and maybe be the guy after Stafford.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
No, I'm cool with it.
Lions going Zy Alexander. All right. So this is what we got here. Josh Simmons with the Texans' first pick. Second pick, we traded back a couple spots, picked up a 3rd next year for a 5th this year. Jaden Higgins. Can't Scadaboo help the offense here. Need protection, need some playmakers for CJ Stroud, and we got a 3rd rounder next year. Rams, we didn't trade at all. Siobhan Revel, get him back by training camp healthy. Ease him into his rookie year for much needed secondary slot. Shamar Turner in the 3rd round, and finish up with potentially the successor to Matthew Stafford and Quinn Ewers.
Yeah.
All right. Good Lord. It has been a long show. But we're almost done. Free agency week 2. Next Monday. Steelers Chargers mock draft. We got the Vikings Packers on Friday. And it's going to be a great time. Jimmy's going to throw a lot of curse words out there. And
I'm going to disagree with every one of your Steelers picks just to be it.
We hopefully will not be here for 2 hours on Friday.
This is what we get for having a show the day after free agency starts.
Who knows? All right. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast and X and Instagram, FAA_bets on X as well. FAApodcast.com is our website. You check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram, as well as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and TikTok at FAA.podcast. We will see y'all back on Football Friday.